There you are looking at my first meal of the day. I'm not a big breakfast eater, especially when I'm cutting. So I start the day out with one muscle milk. It's 11 fluid ounces, 170 calories, 32 grams of protein, 8 grams of carbs, and then I have 8.4 ounce Red Bull, which is 110 calories and about 29 grams of carbs. So I keep my carbs pretty low. When I'm cutting, my total daily amount of carbs is usually between 200 and 250 grams. So I save most of those carbs for my workout. Sometimes if I'm bulking, or depending on where my calories are at during the cut, I will add some Quaker apple and cinnamon instant oatmeal, which is about 160 total calories in one package of that. And that's really it for breakfast. Like I said, I'm not a big breakfast eater, so I keep it simple. Usually when I'm cutting, like this last cut, I started at 2,250 calories and then went down to a total of 2,000 calories a day. So like I said, I keep my protein really high, carbs really low, fats pretty low. So this is breakfast, and it'll get me through until lunch, which I usually, just depending on when I start my day, I'll usually eat lunch between 12, maybe 1 o'clock if I can push it a little bit. So I'll follow up with that next meal when it gets time. What's up? It is now about 1:10 in the afternoon. I'm about to eat meal 2. I'm on the road today for work, so I'm eating in my car. Meal 2 is going to be very exciting. This is ground beef and white rice with a little bit of beef stock poured over it, which adds a little protein and makes it easier to reheat on the road or really anywhere. The white rice and the ground beef dries out pretty easily in the microwave. So this is basically one of Stan Efferding's meals. He calls it Monster Mash. Typically, if I was at home or somewhere else, I would cut up baby spinach and put on top. I use just Walmart beef. Let me look at my MyFitnessPal. This meal is ground beef. It's the 93.7 fat content. There's about a half a pound of meat in here, which works out to 340 calories and 46 grams of protein. And then I have that with half a cup of uncooked, 1 cup cooked white rice for 160 calories, 36 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein. So without any kind of drink, this comes out to 500 calories. When I'm on the road or when I'm cutting in general, I do not eat any fast food. And to be honest, this meal right here makes up the majority of my calories. I don't eat anything that my wife prepares if I can't know exactly how many calories are in it. I think when you're cutting, really when you're dieting at all, like the whole goal is just to eat in a deficit. So the biggest problem I feel like people run into when they're trying to eat in a deficit is that they're not consistent with counting calories. I use MyFitnessPal and I log every single thing that I eat. I weigh every single thing that I eat out to the exact gram. And so I do a lot of meal prepping because that's the only way that I can even be remotely confident that I know exactly what's in my food. If she makes something like, let's say for example, spaghetti, it's nearly impossible to know exactly how much of each ingredient is in your serving, unless of course I make it, and then I have ways of doing that. But so typically I make all of my own meals, and the Monster Mash or beef and white rice makes up the majority of the calories that I'm gonna get in a day. So I'll follow up again on meal 3. Okay, well, so now we're on meal 3 of the day, and again, like I mentioned earlier, I eat really bland. So again, I'm gonna have Monster Mash, ground beef, white rice. We got a half a pound ground beef, 1 cup white rice cooked or half a cup uncooked. Exact same meal that I had earlier in the day. 500 calories total. It's about 50 grams of protein. I forget the carbs exactly. The only thing I'm gonna do different in this meal, just because I'm home from work now, is add in a bunch of diced up baby spinach. Baby spinach makes up I don't know, 90%, 99% of my source of green stuff. I don't really like vegetables at all. And so luckily with the vertical diet, which don't get me wrong, I don't exactly like subscribe to the vertical diet. It just so happens that that's the way I like to eat. Basically my diet consists of chicken and white rice, chicken and noodles, beef and white rice. That's about it. So I don't eat any gravies, sauces. I mean, unless like I have spaghetti or something, but that's a rarity. Like I basically try to keep all of my calories very simple. I don't view food, and never have, as like a source of enjoyment. You know, like if I want to enjoy something I'm eating, then I'll eat a handful of candy or like a dark chocolate bar or something. Like I don't really get any satisfaction from food. I eat purely for fuel. And so I think that's one of the things that makes dieting easy for me. Like I don't understand. I get in these arguments all the time on Facebook about how simple it is to diet. I mean, it's just calories in, calories out. There's no magic to it. You don't have to follow the vertical diet or whatever diet. You don't need any of that. All you have to do is track how many calories you eat and how many calories you burn. And the less fancy you get with your meals, the easier that is. So when I sit down at the table like I'm about to do right now, I literally view this as being no different than when I put gasoline in my car. And that's one of the arguments that I make on Facebook a lot. Like when people say, oh, it's so hard not to overeat. Like, no, it's not. Is it hard for you to not pump gasoline? Like you fill your tank of gas, you don't just pump excess out all over the ground. It's a total waste of money. Every time you shove unnecessary calories into your face, all you're doing is wasting money. So like if I was in a bulk phase, hey bud, if I was in a bulk phase, I would eat basically these same meals, beef and white rice, chicken and white rice, chicken and noodles. What I typically add that gives me the excess calories that I need is sugars. Like that's my weakness. I don't have a problem staying away from the gravy, but I love Dr. Peppers or squirt sodas or candy. So you may have noticed in the video earlier I had a Dr. Pepper in the car. If I was going to add calories to this meal, rather than making bigger portions or adding a whole bunch of other unnecessary stuff, I would probably just add a Dr. Pepper to it, which would give me another 36 grams of carbs, 150 calories. You add a handful of those a day, and now all of a sudden you're in a bulk phase. Is that the most healthy thing to do? Probably not. I've never had any problems really with insulin resistance. I'm not diabetic. Maybe I will be in the future. And again, I'm not telling you what you should do for you because everybody's different. This is just what works for me. I would much rather have a Dr. Pepper with a bland meal than to cover this with some kind of gravy or sauce or whatever and just compound, you know, the process of trying to figure out what I'm eating. So this is meal 3. I'm gonna have this and probably a Red Bull, go to the gym. My son's in the background pouring out goldfish crackers, which is a classic example of what you should not be eating is goldfish crackers. What were you thinking with that? Not only do those taste like crap, let me see that box. Goldfish crackers.
Hey, I'm skinny.
He is skinny. 140 calories for 55 pieces. Yeah, you might be all right here.
Sometimes I eat like
How many pieces do you think you got over there?
Sometimes.
See, so
at least 100, but
for example, if let's see your cup.
Maybe like 40.
By the way, this is Paul. This is my youngest son. Say hi.
Hi.
He has a YouTube channel too. It's called Tomahawk Twizzler. He makes gaming videos. So he also plays the violin and he does that on his YouTube channel. So we're just a big YouTube family here. So you should check out Tomahawk Twizzler on YouTube. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think you got 55 here. Maybe these are not that bad. I don't know. I would never eat them. I hate cheese. Knock yourself out with your goldfish crackers. So anyway, I'm gonna eat this meal, have a Red Bull, go to the gym, and then I'll check back in later with meal number 4. What's up? I just got back from the gym. So I'm about to eat meal 4 of the day. And so I want to cram in some carbs and some protein to speed recovery after the gym. So meal 5 is going to be ice cream. I like Dutch chocolate ice cream. I'm going to mix in BSN's Synthesix protein powder and whole milk. So you may be saying, wait a minute, I thought this was a cutting video. This is a cutting video. Currently today, I've had 1,380 calories, 135 grams of carbs, 34 grams of protein, and 34 grams of fat, and 134 grams of protein. So I still have plenty of calories. I have almost 1,000 calories left today, and I have a sweet tooth. So there's no reason to suffer just because you're cutting. As long as you stay in a caloric deficit, it does not matter what you eat. So this meal that I'm about to have is going to be a total of 640 calories, 60 grams of carbs, 31 grams of fat, and 42 grams of protein, which is going to leave me right where I want to be at the end of the evening to finish off with a low-fat, high-protein meal, probably a little bit of carbs at the end, and that will give me, that's going to be 5 meals for the day. So I've been able to cover all of my macronutrients. I've been able to eat something that I enjoy. I've been able to have good progress in the gym, plenty of energy to lift, and this is all still keeping me at a caloric deficit so that I can continue to get leaner. So please do not listen to anyone tell you that it's not this easy. It is exactly this easy. You don't need to follow a special diet. You don't need to make yourself miserable eating terrible foods. I do eat a little bit bland during the day, but that affords me the ability to enjoy ice cream before bed. So I'm going to enjoy this ice cream, and then I will catch up on the 5th meal of the day. It's now about 11 o'clock in the evening and time for my final meal of the day. This will be the 5th and final meal. And based on where my calories are at today, which is a total of 2,200 calories, 195 grams of carbs, 65 grams of fat, and 176 grams of protein, I'm going to end the day with just another muscle milk, which is typically how I end my day. Usually by the end of the day, I'm out of carbs, and I just need to add a little bit of protein. So this is 170 calories and 32 grams of protein, which will put me a little over 200 grams of protein and right at that 2,200 mark, a little under for my total calories for the day. So I won't keep this video running long. I rambled enough earlier. This is basically the diet that I use to cut. It is very effective. I usually shed about 1 pound of body weight per week at this calorie load. At 2250, I can bring my weight down pretty steadily. Obviously, once I get around the 10% mark, you really got to bring it back even further, and that's when I go to 2,000. I don't really typically try to cut beyond that, much beyond that, just because I'm not competing and it's taxing on the body and you start jeopardizing your muscle mass. So anyway, I just wanted to make that quick this video to show anyone who's interested exactly what you can eat in a day to get lean. It's really not that difficult, and it's really not that bad. So thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.